Hi everybody. Alright, we're going to do a gardening experiment on Kelly Won't Go On Cam Garden, because Kelly, who's behind the camera, won't go on the camera. That's why I'm here. So anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to turn that into one of those. So that's a self-wicking garden bed. There's a water reserve underneath it with ag pipe and sand, and then the growing medium or the soil on top. So we're going to turn this one, which didn't work out very well, into one of those, which seems to be going quite well. What are you going to need? You're going to need sleepers, which we have here to make the frame. You're going to need ag pipe, the type with the sock on it so that the sand stays out of the ag pipe, an end cap, a fitting for the end cap to go to some of that black tubing, and I'll show you why in a minute. Going to need some geofabric. Going to need some weed mat for the bottom underneath the pond liner, and then the bolts for the frame, and a staple gun really helps when you're putting the whole thing together. Right? So finished product is this. 2 sleepers high. There's a pond liner in there, a sand and ag pipe reservoir in the bottom with geofabric on the top. And then the reason that you need that black pipe is over here. That's this bit, which is the drain. So that basically sets your water level for the water reserve on the inside. So you need that black pipe to attach to the end cap for the ag pipe. And that's about it. So that's the layout. That's what we're going to do today, and we'll get to it. Okay, so we've got the top half of the sleepers in now. And then the next thing that goes in is the weed mat, and the weed mat's basically just there to protect the pond liner, which is going to go in next. When you do the weed mat, just pull the weed mat all the way over the edge like that and leave some extra all the way around. You'll see when the pond liner goes in, you then fold that weed mat over with pond liner and kind of create a seam all the way around the top edge. So we'll put the pond liner in, and then after that we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so we've put the pond liner in now, and just kind of, the corners are a bit dicky, but figure the corners out, you know, tuck them in, hospital corners or gift wrapping or whatever. The other thing is this hole. Now this is the drainage hole. It's 13.5 centimeters from the base, from this inside base. So there's the center of the drainage hole is 13.5 centimeters up, so that there's 13 centimeters of reservoir before it actually starts to drain. So we'll put the ag pipe in, put the connector on the end of the ag pipe, and then that comes out to this drain hole. And then once that's in, we'll start putting some sand in. Okay, so we've put the ag pipe in, and that's 100 mil ag pipe with the sock on it, and the sock is to make sure that the sand doesn't get into the ag pipe. The ag pipe's there to create the reservoir where the water's actually going to sit. We put the ag pipe in. It's kind of like wrestling an anaconda that doesn't fight back much at all, so I'd recommend having some weights. You can put some weights on it to keep it in place. BB gun maybe to shoot the birds in the background so they stop making noise. I didn't say that to the animal lovers. Don't post under the video and write nasty things. I was joking. Relax. So anyway, at the end of the ag pipe, there's the pipe cap. Put a hole in that offset. That's where the drain pipe goes. Drain pipe comes out through here. And if you keep the sock at the end of the ag pipe, that'll stop the mosquitoes and stuff from being able to get in, and then you know, create living environments underneath. So keep the sock on there. Put that on there, and we're pretty much ready for sand. Okay, so we've got the sand in. It was about 2 wheelbarrows full of sand. Kind of level it out roughly. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and fill up. This is the bit of the ag pipe that was sticking up and will remain above ground level when we finish it. So go ahead and fill it. You should see the water rise, and also see water coming out of the drain pipe on the back side over here. And then you know where you've got a level, if you need a bit more sand or whatever. So we'll do that, and we'll get it full of water, and then we'll come back to geofabric and finish it off. Right, so this is basically what you'll start to see as the whole thing fills up. The water level comes up above the sand. You know, the first rough guess of where the water level was just kind of level with the drain pipe that went out, or where the sand level was, sorry, just kind of level with that. Fill it up, and we're waiting. Over there is the drain pipe, and just waiting for the water to come out. As soon as the water comes out of the drain pipe, then we know we're at full level, and then we can finish adding in the sand, and we're looking for a layer of basically just damp sand at the top, and then we know that we're set and ready for the next layer. Right, so we've added sand in a little bit at a time. Watch the drain hose. Basically what you're looking for is, you kind of play a waiting game, drain it out a little bit, or let it drain a little bit, put a bit more sand in, and then it stops draining, and you've still got this nice damp layer of sand at the top, and level it out, pretty level, and there you go. We're ready to add geofabric next. Okay, so we've put the geofabric in, kind of 3 runs of geofabric, 1 in the middle and then each side. We've also taken the time to go around and clean up all the edges, trim back in the corners, and just kind of tuck the whole thing in nice and neat. I want to point out the weed mat and the pond liner are behind this, and the geofabric is in front of this, so there's kind of a sandwich, which is where the ag pipe goes down for the reservoir underneath, right? Right. So the other thing we're going to do is, in that corner, going to cut off the length of the worm farm to put in that corner. That's basically what we've got going on in here. So we put the scraps and stuff into that. That worm farm goes down, it's got holes in it, and they can pretty much free roam through the garden when they want to. It works quite well, because when we dig in there, we find worms pretty much scattered throughout the whole place, so they seem to cruise around on their own. So we'll do that while we've got it here, and then we'll start putting the mix in. Alright, well, we're basically done. So we've filled it up. Basically, what went into this was about a 50-50 mixture of sand and compost. I know there's a whole bunch of debate on what goes in the top. You do what's going to make you happy. I did what made Kel happy. So that was really bad. Anyway, there's about 25 centimeters, right, darling? Yeah, it's about 25 centimeters of fill. There's about 15 centimeters of sand in the bottom, and if you remember right, the drain hole was at 13 centimeters, which means you've got about 2 centimeters of sand over the top of where your water level sits, which gives you the damp sand at the top. That's it. Stake out squares if you want. Put kitty guards on it like we did on that one to keep the cat out of the garden. Whatever. Finish it however you like. And put a worm corner or a worm tower in the corner, and that'll keep the soil nice and fresh and give you a good place to put the kitchen scraps. So that's it. Hope you had fun. We did. It was a good way to spend a Sunday. See you later. Adios.